Hello, friends and colleagues, and welcome to the Tourism Skill Shop, hosted by State of Washington Tourism, SWT. My name is Matthew Ozuna, and I am the Destination Development Manager at SWT. I will introduce today's webinar on America 250 with the Washington Historical Society and Visit Vancouver, Washington. Please utilize the chat feature in Zoom and say hello. Let us know where you are zooming in from today. Feel free to share your comments in the chat and use the Q&A feature as well. My colleague Marissa Petrovich is helping with the webinar. She is the Industry Relations Coordinator at SWT. Marissa and I will do our best to organize and prioritize questions from the audience for the guest speakers near the end of the webinar. In case you don't know, the Tourism Skill Shop is one of a few industry educational programs from State of Washington Tourism. This webinar series will engage with colleagues across the tourism sector, broadening their industry knowledge, skills, and network. Each webinar will highlight a specific issue or skill for tourism professionals to ponder and discuss with industry experts. SWT usually hosts live webinars of the Tourism Skill Shop on the third or fourth Thursday of every month from 10 to 11 a.m. Skillshop webinars are free and open to all tourism stakeholders. These webinars will also be recorded and shared with registrants as well as other users on the SWT YouTube channel. For Tourism Skillshop and other industry updates, follow SWT on LinkedIn and visit the SWT industry website, where tourism professionals can sign up to become industry advocates and learn more about advertising opportunities with State of Washington Tourism. Now let's dive into today's webinar. America 250 is the official, nonpartisan, multi-year, and I think that's really important, commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This commemoration is designed to be inclusive, representing the diverse backgrounds and experiences of people who have shaped the United States over the last 2.5 centuries. Webinar attendees will learn how to collaborate on and promote America 250 programs and events from communities and organizers in Washington State. They will receive marketing materials and planning tools, including a toolkit, logo, videos, and social media tiles. And Kelsey will talk more about that a little later. Staff from the Washington State Historical Society and Visit Vancouver, Washington will serve as the guest speakers today on this webinar. And I will introduce those folks now. Lorraine Ralston, America 250 coordinator from the Washington State Historical Society. Lorraine, thank you for joining us today. Kelsey Horne, America 250 marketing coordinator, Washington State Historical Society. And Shara Burton, communications manager at Visit Vancouver, Washington. Thanks, ladies, for joining us today. We're eager to kind of dive into this topic. Kelsey and Shara, we're going to get to you in a little bit. Lorraine, we're going to kind of tee you up, and I just want folks to kind of know the important work that you're doing around the state. You are responsible for helping coordinate programs and events around the state as it relates to not only America 250, but Washington's birthday. 150 years? Or Washington State's? No, what is it? No? Oh,
No, nothing about Washington State this time.
oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting confused with Colorado. I think I'm
Colorado
working.
is celebrating its 150th.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. I have another webinar next week with the state tourism office in Colorado and scenic byways, but my apologies. So, what have you learned from this entire experience? What can you kind of what advice do you give folks around the state working with tourism offices and local historical societies and chapters?
Right. Well, Matt, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us here today to talk about America 250. We're really excited to be here. Just looking at some of the names in the chats, there's been so many groups that I've met with already, and a big shout out and hello to you guys joining us today. The one thing I'll tell you what I've learned is I've traveled all over the state in the past 15 months. I've been to every county, almost every city,
Oh, wow.
met with all kinds of people around the state. And, there is a momentum of interest in being part of America 250. This is a moment in history. It won't happen again. And while we might not be part of the original 13 states, we do have an interest in being part of America's history and really celebrating and commemorating this point in our time.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to learn more about what you're doing across Washington, what Washington communities and tourism offices are doing. So I'll let you dive into your PowerPoint presentation now.
Super. All right. Let's make sure we can make it happen. And can you guys see my slides?
Oh, there it is. Yep, we sure
All
can.
right. Perfect. Well, hopefully, of course, it's not. There we go. Hopefully, I don't need to convince everyone on this call why America 250 is important, why you should care, but this is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That was the start of the United States. It was a revolutionary time, not only for the United States, but for the world, where the first time people stood up and said that government is of the people, by the people, for the people. So it was very revolutionary. And we just think it's an important time for us to kind of reflect on the past 250 years of our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I like to call it, but also as a moment for us to look to the future of where are we going as a country, where are we going as a state, where are we going as our communities, and really reconnecting with our history. So hopefully everybody wants to be part of this in some way. So just to give you a little bit of background of what's happened to date, back in 2016, the U.S. Congress established the National Planning Committee. They've been hard at work. They've got a number of national things that have already started to roll out. In addition to the National Planning Committee, every state, the District of Columbia, and all of the U.S. territories have also established planning committees. So there are 56 individual committees. They're all independent. They're all approaching this in a variety of ways, but we do collaborate where it makes sense with the other states, particularly the Western states, as you can imagine. Here in Washington, we've had a state planning committee since 2022. The lieutenant governor chairs that committee, and the Washington State Historical Society was appointed as the administrative agency or the organizing agency on behalf of the state committee, which is why Kelsey and I are involved. I'm not a historian. I'm not from the Historical Society. I was hired specifically for this program with America 250. So here in Washington and many of the Western states, sometimes people find it hard to make that connection to the revolution. I'm from New York, and I grew up living and breathing the revolution. You can't walk 10 feet without tripping over something from the revolution. But here in Washington, our approach is a little bit more remote. You can't go visit a battlefield here, for example. So we have three themes for our state that we're hoping to tap into this year. And our themes are We the People, the Power of Place, and Sharing History. And those themes really reflect the fact that we weren't part of the United States in 1776. So what we're trying to do here is really tell our story, our chapter of the American story, if you will, but really connecting with local communities, local histories, and local voices. Each one of us has an American story to tell. You put them all together, and that is the American story. So all of 2026 is the America 250 commemorative year. Obviously, things are going to continue beyond 2025 as we move through the 7 years of the commemoration around the revolution. But here in Washington, we've identified 4 key dates this year around which we hope communities can try to do something. The first date is June 14th, which is going to be a day of service. It's all about volunteering. And this is a national initiative called America Gives. Every state is participating. It will be the largest public service effort in American history. It's about individuals volunteering. It's about re-energizing that culture of volunteering that America is so renowned for, which goes back to the 1770s and Benjamin Franklin and the first volunteer fire department. And it's also about some of our communities identifying projects that the community can do together. Big projects, small projects, it doesn't matter, something meaningful to their community. The second key date this year hopefully needs no explanation. It is what we're working toward. It's the 4th of July. That is the 250th anniversary, or our semi-quincentennial, which really just rolls off the tongue. We are hoping communities around the state will do something to mark this moment in history. Many, many communities around the state have fabulous 4th of July events already. Communities that don't have 4th of July events are considering doing something this year just to mark this occasion. These can be very simple, cost-effective community engagement projects, just so the community can say, you know what? On this point in history, we were together as a community. Some of our ideas are public readings of the Declaration of Independence, flag retirement ceremonies. We've got a fantastic commemorative apple pie recipe from the Washington State Apple Commission. It's delicious. I've made it at home. Many cities are tapping into the idea of apple pie eating contests and baking contests. We're encouraging people around the state to go outside and wave a flag at 2:50 in the afternoon, which is not significant in any way to the Declaration of Independence. That is not the time that John Hancock signed the document. It is just 250 to 250 years. We're encouraging community photos, getting as many people together in their community and taking a photo to mark the occasion. We're also encouraging potluck meals, community potluck meals. The state of Utah is sponsoring America's Potluck. Super easy way for communities to reconnect, be together on this important moment in history. Of course, that doesn't mean that there won't be parades and fireworks and pancake breakfasts and everything else, but these are just simple, cost-effective ways that any community in the state can be part of this moment in history. The third key date will be August 8th, which will be Washington Museum Day. We're hoping every museum in the state will be open on August 8th for free or with reduced admission. These are community history museums, art museums, specialty museums, big museums, small museums. It doesn't really matter. We just want to encourage Washingtonians to get out there, explore their state, learn more about heritage tourism and more community history and visiting these locations. So we're really excited about working with the Washington Museum Association on this initiative. And the expectation is that this will become an annual event in the state. And then finally in September, we will end our commemorative period, if you will, with a day of civic engagement, really looking to remind all of us of our responsibilities as citizens, but specifically trying to work with young people in our communities to get them interested in community and civic engagement and local government. So those are just some of the key dates. Obviously, things will be happening throughout the year, and we encourage events throughout the year. So many of our partners have already started hosting events in their communities, which leads me to our Washington State Partnership Program. And I'm looking at the list of people who are on the webinar today. I know many of you have already signed up as community partners. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't signed up yet and you are a nonprofit or a municipality or an educational group, you are more than welcome to join our partnership program. It is free. We have more than 730 community partners around the state and every county. These are cities, their towns, their historical groups, their arts and cultural organizations, veterans groups, service clubs, culture, parks, libraries, schools, chambers of commerce, tourism groups. The list goes on and on. We've got garden clubs that are joining to be partners. Anybody can be part of this. If you are a for-profit business, we'd love to have you engaged as well. We just probably need to have an offline conversation about how you can participate in this moment as well. Our community partners are so key to making this a successful commemoration in our state, because the approach we've taken here in Washington is very much a decentralized, locally led effort. The state was not in any position to provide funding for America 250, unfortunately, and probably it would have been a waste of resources for us to try to do some sort of an expensive overlay for every community in the state. So the way we're approaching this is that local communities, local organizations will decide if they want to be part of this and how they want to be part of this, how they want to approach this moment in history, and what they can do in their community that will be meaningful to the members of their communities, things that will resonate for their community. And what's going to happen in Pend Oreille County is going to be very different from what's happening in San Juan County or what's happening in Clark County. And that's the way we've designed this. We want this to be meaningful to people. So our partnership program is free. You're not obligated to do anything. It's not like getting a grant where you have to prove what you did at the end of it. You're just expressing an interest to be part of this, but you do get a number of benefits. We're going to go into some of these benefits a little bit more with Kelsey, but some of the more important benefits, or to me, the most important benefit, is that you start to receive regular updates about what's happening around the state, what's happening nationally, some of the creative ideas that our partners are doing around the state to give you perhaps inspiration of something that might work in your community. You will be listed on our website. All of our partners are listed, broken out by county, so you can see the variety of organizations in each community. You would get permission to use our logo and our marketing toolkit. We have a statewide America 250 events calendar that our partners can post events on. We're going to go into that a little bit more in depth with Kelsey. This is a great resource, and as you'll see, events are already happening around the state, a variety of types of programming elements that our partners are doing. We have some promotional videos. They are fantastic. 3 very well done videos around our themes that were done by TVW. One of which I think will be of interest to our tourism and partners is on our theme, The Power of Place, which is really looking at the landscape of our state and how that has been a contributor to our history, whether it's the types of industries that have developed in Washington, or the types of people who've come here and settled here. And it's a beautiful love letter to the landscape of Washington when you watch it. So please do watch it on YouTube. We also have a fantastic Instagram project that we're doing called My History is Here, to get people to really look at places that are meaningful in the state, that are meaningful to them and their personal history. And we have a variety of other toolkits and resources for our partners. So we encourage everybody, if you haven't signed up, to please learn more about our partnership program and do sign up. Some of the things that tourism groups can specifically help, I know not everyone on the call is a tourism agency, but one of the ways, or some of the ways that you can help us, is to first and foremost start to raise awareness about America 250. There's been very little publicity to date about this important moment in history. As I mentioned, we have no funding from the state, so our budget for marketing and promotion's zero. Poor Kelsey is doing everything that she can to help raise awareness, but you can help us raise awareness about this moment in history, whether it's tying into the Revolution in American history, the Declaration of Independence and its ideals specifically, what's happening in local communities and their history and their local voices and stories. I think some of our friends in Moses Lake, they are doing a lot to promote local people and their individual stories and photos and personal connection to the Moses Lake community. It's fantastic programming that's happening out there in Moses Lake. We also have a fantastic project for museums around the state called Out of Many One, which the museums that participate will select an item from their collection that represents the American experience in their community. We love help in promoting these items and encouraging people to go find these museums, find these items, and learn more about our history. We can ask for help, or we'd love your help to encourage people to participate this year. It's one thing to know about America 250. It's another thing is to get engaged, go to an event in your community, learn more about our history and where we're going as a country. And if your community does have a planning committee, we've got many planning committees around the state that have been established. Shara from Visit Vancouver is participating in the Clark County one. We'd encourage you to get involved in a local planning committee. And if you don't know if there's one in your community, you can always reach out to me and I can try and connect you with a group. So my final message would be, this is a moment in history. Some of us on the call may be old enough to remember the bicentennial. I certainly do. You want to be part of this. When you get older in the future, you want to say, you know what? I was there. I was there in my town when we celebrated the semi-quincentennial, when we took that community photo. I was part of history. So please, I encourage you, don't let this moment in history bypass you. There's enough there for every organization to find a way to be part of this moment in history and make it meaningful. If you'd like more information, please go to our website. Kelsey's going to show some more of the resources on our website here in a minute. It's America250wa.org, not to be confused with the National Committee. We have lots of resources there. We even have some Washington State merchandise that we'd encourage you to buy and start showing your pride in America 250 Washington. And you can always reach out to me if you've got questions. If you would like to chat more in depth about some of this stuff, I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one chat with you to talk more about these ideas and these themes and more in depth, or what's happening in your community, or how you can get engaged. I realize this is a lot of information. This is only the surface of what we're doing. There's so much going on. I could talk for hours about this and bore you to death, but I'd be happy to go offline and talk a little bit more about this with any organization. So do you want to see if we have any questions?
Yeah, well, and
Gonna...
Lorraine, before we go to Kelsey, I think you've hit on so many good points. Thank you for putting your contact information. Folks, reach out to Lorraine if you kind of need to dive a little deeper into an idea or an event or a program for America 250. Marissa, I see that you've popped in the chat. You've asked folks what are they planning for America 250. Lorraine, I think this is really important to focus on local history, people, places, culture. I think that's part of what tourism does. And I think one thing is to engage your community, but it's also important to kind of engage visitors, right? Make sure visitors are welcome to your community and celebrate in this community event. And so I think, just going back to one example, you talked about the museum day, the free or reduced admission to a museum. I think it was August 8th. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to kind of connect, multiple museums within a region and then turn that into a day or multi-day and other evening experiences. Maybe there's kind of a set menu with a local restaurant or two, and maybe a lodging partner is involved, can give a discount lodging. So that's where we as tourism professionals kind of connect all of the dots in the tourism ecosystem to get people to stay longer and spend more. And that's kind of how we're combining community engagement with visitor spend. And I think if people can understand that and pair the two together, I think this is going to be a beautiful marriage between America 250 and destination promotion and management.
Absolutely. And I think that's spot on. I think two of our initiatives specifically, one is the Museum Day and the Out of Many One project, where the museums will have an item on display, really lend itself to visitors. So it's one thing to say, oh, I've never been to my local museum, I should go take a look at it. But what we really want to encourage people is to get out and explore our state. We have a vast and rich fabric of history here in Washington, and it's not what you might expect. It is unexpected. So, I know, I don't know if they're on the call, but a couple of the groups that signed up, like Ronnie and the Cascade Loop and Debbie at Sky Valley Chamber, they've been talking about ways that they can kind of promote things along in their area of interest, along
a route or a trail. Yes, exactly.
Points of interest, museums, events that are happening, and tying that into America 250. It's what they normally do anyway, but they're just putting that America 250 spin on it, which is fantastic.
Excellent. Okay. I think we hit on all of the points I wanted to reiterate. I think you did a great job, Lorraine. And we can move to Kelsey.
Great. So Kelsey, I think, is going to go more in depth on some of these marketing tools that she has personally developed.
Yes. So thank you so much for taking that up, Lorraine and Matt. I'm so happy to be here sharing some of these wonderful resources with you all. As Lorraine mentioned, it's really important to us to do as much as we can with as little as possible, right? We know that everyone is strapped right now. Things are tight, budgets are tight, time is tight. So we are doing our absolute best to make sure that you've got the resources that you not only find valuable, but value added, right? So we talk a lot about free resources available to everyone, as well as resources available to our partners. And it's, I also am going to echo what Lorraine mentioned. It's so wonderful to see so many of our partners online. It's so great to see representation across different industries. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to start off with our website. And I am a pretty collaborative presenter. So if you have a question, please utilize the Q&A function, utilize the chat. Marissa and Matt will make sure that I see those. I want to make sure that what we're going through is helpful to you and useful to you. So I'm going to go quickly because our time is precious. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me know. There we go. We should be sharing. How are we looking? Do you see the website?
Yes, looks good.
Excellent. All right. So this is our landing page. Our website is chock-a-block full of resources. So I'm going to start broad and work down. So our landing page is a great place to start. We've listed quite a few of the things we want to highlight with you here on our landing page. So Lorraine mentioned our videos. Our videos are a great way to engage multiple communities in multiple settings. Please feel free to share these far and wide. We've linked them here on our landing page. They're also available on our YouTube page, which I'll toggle to really quickly here. Our YouTube is just Washington State History. All of our videos, so we have our America250th video up here at the top, and then we have our 3 themed videos here down here. We also, I'll go back to our homepage. They're here on the homepage. Please feel free to use these, share these. They are beautiful pieces of art, really. We're excited to add these into our collections for years and years to come. But big shout out to TVW for putting in a lot of work across the state, really statewide collaborative effort to make sure that all of Washington is represented in these 3 videos. So take some time, review those videos. They're great. In the future, we'll be sharing smaller clips that are more appropriate for social media. So keep an eye out for those, but more than welcome to use those whenever you find those helpful. Another partnership that we're really excited about is this component here. It's called This Week in Washington History. We have partnered with HistoryLink, which is based in King County, to focus on kind of some really fun highlights of this week in Washington history. So we do a blog post every week. This link here will take you to week 1. But if you click on updates here at the top, you can see all of those updates. Right now we're sitting happily in week 7, but we like to focus on dates in history that represent a cross section of what's happened in the past. Obviously, a lot has happened since 1776, especially here in Washington. We still did exist. We just weren't Washington State in 1776. But there's a lot of really interesting nuggets of information that we've tried to pull out and highlight for you here. An opportunity to just kind of get a quick taste of what happened this week, and then you can always learn more, which takes you over to HistoryLink. We post these on our social media page. Oh, it automatically changed. Okay, here's our social media Facebook page. We like to feature lots of different things happening, but every week we will post that this week in history on both of our social media platforms. So it's easy for you to share. If something kind of catches your eye that's relevant to your own community, that would be a really fun way to engage your own community and your own audience. So I'll head back to our link. Oh, it changed on me again. We'll head back to our landing page. So our landing page is a really convenient place for you to come kind of navigate around the website for resources. A big one that I also wanted to share, we've been talking about, like, everybody seems to have the question, well, what is Washington State doing for America's 250th? Well, we have those key commemorative dates all here on our landing page. But again, we wanted to focus on what communities are doing. What is happening in your own community? What is easy for you to get to? Or better yet, where do you want to visit for the semi-quincentennial? Where's someone that maybe you want to get out of your own backyard and go across the state or over to the peninsula or over to Spokane or down to Clark County? Like, let's figure out what's happening around the state and we'll share it with as far and wide. So we've got our events calendar. partners are able to submit their own events happening all year. We've put it in what we hope is an easy to navigate layout, but you can see visually where some of the events are listed. It's automatically going to start with the most recent date, but you can toggle between different dates here using these arrows. It will navigate to the next set of events happening all throughout the year. You can also utilize some of these filters. You can narrow it down by county, city, the type of event, the date that it might be happening. So lots of functionality options here to help you narrow down your search criteria for an event that might be more appropriate for you and your community. So we're really excited about our community event calendar. And then, so that's kind of big picture, like what's helpful to lots of folks. We're going to get into some of the free resources that we have available to everyone. We have narrowed it down to kind of these categories. Pro tip though, the partners page has every single resource available, but we've kind of like narrowed it down and pulled out some that we think that museums might find more helpful, educators might find more helpful, or just members of the general public might find more helpful. So we'll focus on partners for now for ease of for this webinar. But so we have lots of just links to everywhere, right? Like links to our commemorative dates to sign up and get toolkits. Here's more information about the really neat localized out of one many. Moments That Made Us is a really neat program. It's a print on demand panel exhibition. So for our local historic societies or smaller museums or even community centers can print these panels at a cost-effective way to really hone in on some bringing the semi-quincentennial celebration in a historical perspective to your community. We've listed our partner guide here, which is chock-a-block full of some of those other resources I'm going to dive into if you're a member of our partner group. We've got a draft proclamation that you can download and make appropriate for your own community. Civic learning opportunities. We have this really fun flyer, 25 ideas for how to participate in the 250th. Most of them are incredibly free, very low barrier, easy to access, things that individuals or communities can do. So this has been a fun little resource page to share out. It's social media friendly. So that's been a really fun one. And then we list some national programs, The American Revolution on PBS by Ken Burns. I don't know if any of you have had the chance to sit down and watch that. It's fantastic, but it's a time commitment, but it's a fun one. So, we've just got lots of opportunities for engagement at every level, all here on our resource page, national kind of things. So please feel free to check that out. And then I'm going to scroll back up. Sorry if I'm making anyone dizzy. I'm going to toggle over to our password protected page just to give you a taste of, if you are a partner, again, it's free, some of the things that you you have access to, right? So not only will you have access to our logo to slap the Washington State America's 250th logo on your events, but you'll also get access to the America250 national logo as well. And what's critical, and I want to make sure everybody understands, is that you can't use either of these logos without signing the logo use agreement. That's critical. We don't want anybody getting in trouble. So if you're at all considering about using those logos, just sign the logo use agreement. It's free, but then you get legal protection to utilize those logos. So when you become a partner, you get access to those logos. But then we've created in Canva, which is a free tool, very accessible. If you're a nonprofit, you can get a free pro account through Canva if you apply. We've created templates in Canva to help you in a whole host of ways. So we've created all of these different templates for you to have access to: presentation templates, yard signs, little handheld flags, street banners, postcards, and then we have a whole host of social media templates that are all available to you.
Awesome. Those are great.
Yeah. So if this is at all of interest, and here's the national logo and the partner guide. So lots of areas for you to be engaged. And again, it's all free. So Yes, Matt, go ahead.
Kelsey,
Yeah,
the national logo,
yes,
is
yes,
there a
here.
similar partnership agreement or legal
So,
document that folks need to
yes.
sign? Okay.
So when you become a partner with us, you automatically opt
Oh,
into signing both. It's a both and. So
okay.
you'll sign the logo use agreement and it'll grant you access to both our logo and the national logo. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Yep. And yeah, we don't want anybody getting in trouble. So please, they're pretty strict about the national logo as well.
Mhm.
So best to be safe than sorry. Um, yeah. So just be careful with that. So those are our marketing materials, our partner kind of perks. And then I wanted to share, let's see, I'm going to pull up our Facebook page really quickly. I thought this might be a fun thing to share with you all. We're currently doing a invitation for public recommendations. The America 250 semi-quincentennial is hosting a time capsule. They're bearing a time capsule. It's a national program. Every state has been invited to submit something. And, and that's a very broad statement. So we have more information on our social media pages, but this might be a fun way of engaging your own communities. If you'd like to share this message, this call for proposal, or this call for kind of recommendations, we'd love to hear from Washingtonians on what they'd like to see in the time capsule. So this is just another example of some of the things we share on our social media accounts, ways to engage various communities, but ways for folks to be involved as well. So we would love to see some engagement from across Washington. Yeah, I think I'm at time. I spoke really quickly, trying to get through some things. Let's see, Lorraine. Oh, my history is here. Yes,
Oh,
I'm going to stop
yes.
sharing because yeah. So my history is here is this catchphrase. It goes along with sharing local history, one of the three themes that we have for America 250 in Washington. Um, my history is here is a program that we're launching. I use that term very loosely because Instagram and Giphy have a partnership, but they don't get along very well, apparently. So we've uploaded all of these wonderful stickers and gifts to Giphy, but they haven't merged over into Instagram yet. We're really hoping at some point this year in 2026, those will all go live. If anybody has any insider intel on how to make that happen faster, I'm all ears. But we've created a whole host of My History is Here stickers for folks to search for when they're sharing stories on Instagram. And it's really just a way to engage each community member in showcasing where their history is, where they feel passionate about, what's important to them about this year and this place, where they find themselves and what they want to share with their own network. So we're really digging into sharing our own histories, learning with and for one another, and diving into why history is important. So please be on the lookout for that. We will release as soon as I see that they're live. Oh, you'll hear about it. It'll be in the newsletter. It'll be on our website. It'll be all over social media. But just know that we're working on that, which is a really fun engagement opportunity. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity. I think all of
Yeah.
these resources, and they're all free, are
Yes.
excellent for folks to utilize across the state. Will you be doing any kind of interviews with local influencers or I mean historical
Hmm.
figures to then kind of put on social media or elsewhere, or to actually be at a community event and live
Mhm.
stream a Fourth of July
Yeah.
parade or a,
Oh,
or a
yeah.
pie eating contest? I mean, stuff like that, like,
Yes. So
would be
on
really fun.
August or on March 2nd, we're having a event down at the Capitol for legislators. It's the unveiling of the Moments That Made Us exhibit, which I kind of briefly touched on. Don't expect anybody to remember that. But Moments That Made Us is a really neat initiative between historic or state historic societies across the western part of the United States, but really it is a nationwide effort to talk about what it means, what the last 250 years have meant. And then we also provide these really cool panels on local history, like down very granular. So our Washington State panels, all the panels plus our Washington State panels will be on display for the year in the state capitol. But we're doing a fun ribbon cutting and a flag raising at the Capitol on March 2nd. So we will be, yes, I will be all over social media doing that event. But if there is a fun event, like I constantly look at our own event calendar to see what we can share. We try to boost our partners' events as much as we can. So those will be all over our social media as well. So yeah, we're amplifying the messages as best as we can. We'd love a secondary share and a secondary shout out. So feel free to engage with us.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Absolutely.
Well done. Well done. Okay, Lorraine, who's next? Shara?
Yeah. So thanks, Kelsey, for that. Pleased to introduce Shara Burton, who's the communications manager at Visit Vancouver. We wanted to include one of our community partners, which Visit Vancouver is. They are also very active with the Clark County Commemorative Planning Committee. So we just kind of, it's one thing for Kelsey and me to tell you guys how important this is and why you need to be part of it. But we thought it might be helpful to actually talk to one of our tourism partners about why they felt it was important to get engaged in some of the creative ideas that are going on in their community. Clark County has got a very, very extensive community planning group that meets monthly. And Shara, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit about what's happening in Clark County.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I just want to say, Kelsey, I've gone through the website and resources, and I still feel like I learned so much more today, just more tools, which is great. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be really brief. Us at Visit Vancouver work really closely with the planning committee, and I will say our planning committee, Clark County Historical Society, is the driving force behind that, kind of organizing everyone. And we've kind of been set forth as the overall marketing for what comes of that. I'll share my screen real quick to show our landing page. Can everyone see this?
It's coming. There it is.
Okay. So this is our landing page we've made for, it says Vancouver, but it's for all of Clark County. Just SEO purposes is we use Vancouver. And I pretty much took everything from the Washington 250 page, and I really tried to stick with these themes of power of place, sharing history, and we the people, and just giving a little context of Vancouver. It seemed like a natural fit as we have Fort Vancouver National Historic Society here. So history is like a main pillar of our destination. And this seemed like a great way to just come together and put it all in one page. This is the main America250 events that everyone on the committee has the option to put their events on a spreadsheet that we came together with. And I go in, I'm trying once a month to go in the spreadsheet and add the events to our calendar here. So they range from what's happening this month at, for example, the Historical Society, historic.
Yeah, it looks like there's music and historic talks and
then it goes all the way down to, I think we have our Veterans Day parade here.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Towards past. So all year events. And then we have our Clark County Historical Museum page, which is for our committee members, that kind of details everything of when we meet, what we do, and our spreadsheet here where they're putting events for us. It just seems like a natural fit as destination marketing, that people are coming to our website for people to come find information, and we are great at getting it out. So
yeah, I think that's really important. You're kind of the central hub for promotion, community events. People come to you, both locals and visitors, right, Shara?
Yes.
Cool. And you're working with this committee, and this committee is kind of like an umbrella organization of smaller historical, cultural entities that kind of feed into one.
Yeah, I would say so. We have the Clark County Historical Society, the Historic Trust, the Fort Vancouver, all the main organizations within the county coming together. We have Camas, Washington, Downtown Association is really big. Yeah, a large committee, as Lorraine was saying, kind of coming together, and hopefully us just getting out the word. We're not really doing anything new for America250, but
Yeah, not a special campaign or anything.
Um, Not on our end, and from what I'm seeing from the other organizations, it's kind of what we are already doing. How can we just add that 250 verbiage to it?
Mhm.
If we already have First Fridays, I think one of the First Fridays in Camas, for example, is going to be Fourth of July themed, and kind of just coming in with that messaging.
Yeah, let me ask you this too. I mean, with Lorraine, we talked about Museum Day, we talked about cultural heritage, history. Is there anything around food, celebration of food around America 250? Is that kind of an aspect that folks in your area have kind of tinkered with?
I haven't seen necessarily food yet. I know Vancouver, we have Washington's oldest apple tree. So we have
Oh,
apple tree
there you
festivity
go. Okay,
here.
I did not know that.
We don't have dates for it yet, but I'm assuming that would hit our event calendar
And
soon.
I know you're rich in history. I'm sure you kind of have a walking trail, historical trail. I know your area also submitted an application for a his or scenic bikeway
Mm.
along that part of the Columbia River and around Vancouver. So yeah, you have a lot of tourism or cultural, historical assets in your area to show off. So that's great. Lorraine, I saw you
No,
turn on
I
your
want to jump
camera.
in on a little bit on the food, my
Ah,
favorite subject, of course. Of course, we have our commemorative apple pie recipe.
there you go.
So
That's it.
first
Yep,
and
you're right.
foremost, and I know not every part of the state is big on apples. So our friends in Grant County are going to do, I think they're doing an apple pie versus cherry pie cook-off.
Oh, yeah.
And certainly down in Pacific County, they're going to be sliding some cranberries into their pies
There you
as
go.
well. But
Yeah.
one of our very creative groups over in Mason County, we've got a very active Mason County America 250 committee, and they worked with some local businesses last year around the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride, where the pubs and the restaurants had Revolutionary War themed food with
Oh,
and
wow.
Revolutionary War themed menus. I thought it was a fantastic
That would be
idea. It
cool.
was
Yeah.
corny. It was the George Washington gin and tonic and the John Hancock mojito. But it was a huge
I like
success.
that.
They're bringing it back this year, and certainly our county fairs are going to be tying into some of these Revolutionary War themed foods. We might see, I don't know, Liberty corn dogs or the whatnot, but there is some interest around food. So I don't want it to, and of course we have the potluck.
Yeah. Well, and I think again, going back to local history and culture and local foods, like um, I think of like oysters. I mean, we're in Washington State. We have coastline. We have
Absolutely.
great seafood. It's great to celebrate that. In September, it's Eat Local month here in Washington State. So you can kind of tie into kind of like buy local,
Yes.
eat local, celebrate everything local, and celebrate America. So
Yeah.
I think there's some tie-ins here.
It's totally a tie into the power of place because we wouldn't
Exactly.
have these products without it being here. We don't grow certain things in Washington because we're not the desert Southwest or what have
Correct.
you. So I think
Yeah.
that's great. We've certainly reached out to all of the community events and festivals around the state. I know our friends in Whitman County are trying to make the Lentil Festival
Oh,
tie
that's
into
right.
America
Yeah, there you
250.
go. Yeah, it's
So I think
iconic.
that's a
Yeah.
great, if they can do it, great. But you're absolutely right. There's so many of these fantastic community events that can easily, or maybe stretch it a little bit to tie into America 250.
Okay, talking about another tie-in. This is great. So, Kelsey, why don't you come on? We'll have a little group discussion. We'll let folks think about their questions to pose for you. I think I saw a question from Eric. We'll get to you quickly, Eric. I believe Vancouver is a fan zone city for FIFA, Shara.
Yes.
Okay, so how does FIFA kind of connect to America 250? Are kind of our local organizations, tourism offices trying to kind of showcase everything America in relation to the soccer matches that are coming this summer?
Yeah, I would say we're still figuring that out too a little bit. But I think at least from our standpoint as a fan zone, we're just trying to get travelers to know that we're here and we're not the BC Vancouver. So I think that's our big hurdle with
Sure.
the 250 and all of that. But yeah, I don't know. The connection there, I think we're still working on, but just getting those outside people to come down I-5 to us and vice versa is our big push.
Yeah, come down, have a party, watch the game, but then also kind of explore, check out these other cool things, connect with local history, local food, local culture. I think there's some opportunity there too. Let's see. I also want to kind of talk about seasonality too. I think Lorraine, I think you did a great job talking about the event in June, 4th of July, and then all the way into September too. Usually when I work with tourism stakeholders around the state, they're absolutely gassed by the end of the summer. It's peak season. It's a busy time. FIFA is also happening during the summer months. So how do we kind of incentivize or push visitation to the shoulder season, spring and the fall? And I think
Yeah.
the Eat Local month in September is an opportunity there. I think other events in the fall where you really kind of where you're really kind of thinking about the entire year and not just the 4th of July. I think you did a really good job of that. And if there's any other advice around programs and events to kind of get folks to kind of diversify their offerings,
I
that would be
think
very
I
helpful.
get it. It's a busy year, and I've spoken with so many groups, and certainly if you touch the Puget Sound or you're one of our FIFA fan zone cities, FIFA's just sucking all the oxygen out of everything, and I get that. We kind of defined the 100 days during the summer as our commemorative period,
Okay.
just to make it a little bit more manageable. But many of our community partners, as you saw on the events calendar that Kelsey just shared, they're already hosting events. I just met with the teeny tiny little town of Pacific in southern part of King County. They're doing an event every month this year,
Wow.
culminating with a festival of trees where they're going to auction off Christmas trees decorated around American history and revolution. So they're doing something all the time. So I think there is plenty going on, that it doesn't have to only be about the 4th of July. Certainly just raising awareness and encouraging people to find out more about their local history or American history or the ideals of the Declaration. That's evergreen. You can do that at any time. So hopefully our partners can tap into that, and maybe at low periods of the year or off season, you can continue to encourage participation.
Yeah, and I'll just do one quick plug for State of Washington Tourism. You saw the event calendar with Visit Vancouver. You saw the great calendar or kind of map that you had, Kelsey, on your website. State of Washington Tourism also has a statewide events calendar. Folks can kind of submit their events, and we can kind of post that on our site. We're hoping to do more as these events occur on with our social channels. So reach out to State of Washington Tourism, our marketing team, for that. Um, we all know times are tough in terms of budgets, and Lorraine, you mentioned FIFA. That's a huge event happening this summer. So maybe it's not about kind of doing more, but it's kind of doing the things that already happen annually and just reframing them, kind of putting them under the umbrella of America 250. I think that's an important message to the folks on the call to know. It's not too late to kind of start planning for an event for the summer, but also the fall. And again, if you're already doing something spring, summer, or fall, we can kind of reframe it as American 250 and help leverage these promotional assets from State of Washington Tourism or the Washington Historical Society. So I just wanted to reiterate those messages before we go into Q&A. And Marissa, I think we had a question or two pop up in the chat or in the Q&A.
Yeah. Sorry if my video's, oh, it looks like it's answered, but let me just pull up this tab here.
Right. So I was just
No, you're fine. It just moved. Yeah, so I think we mentioned a couple of them already and answered them, but let us know if there's any other questions around them. One that we haven't touched on yet is there anything about honoring Native American heritage and lands?
Yeah, and I was just trying to type that in. Thank you for asking that question. Obviously, the first chapter of our story as a state is the tribal story, because in 1776 we were not part of the United States. All of this land was tribal land. So we definitely want to tell that story. It's a huge piece of our story as a state. Many of our resource materials that we've provided, particularly the education kit for the schools, has a section on tribal tribal sovereignty and tribal information. We are certainly including some key dates on our This Week in Washington history. We have reached out to all the tribes in the state to invite them to be part of America 250 and look at ways that they can share their history and their voices. We've got at least one tribe that I know that has signed up to be a partner and is looking at ways it can be part of it. Although, to be fair, I think many of the tribes are engaged more at the local level, working with those community groups. For example, we've talked a little bit about Clark County, and the Cowlitz tribe has been attending some of the Clark County planning meetings. So there's an opportunity there as well for the tribes to be engaged and share their stories.
Excellent. Thank you, Lorraine.
Awesome. And then I think there is actually no other questions right now that we haven't answered live. So feel free, anyone, if you want to put it in the chat or Q&A, whichever's easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a few minutes left. Kelsey, Lorraine, what's the next big project for you for America 250? You said there's an event happening in Olympia soon?
Yes, so
Yep.
that is, quite frankly, it's not the next event. It's the only event we,
Oh,
the
only
state
event.
committee, are organizing, because if I haven't emphasized it enough, we have no funding. No
Yeah.
funding outside
Sounds
of my
familiar. I can
salary
relate.
and Kelsey's part-time salary. That's it. We live off the kindness of strangers and all of these organizations, such as our partners, for helping out in different ways and putting it all together. We're getting some momentum going. But yes, we will have a small event in March 2nd in the state capitol. We'll be raising a flag at the state capitol and doing a ribbon cutting for this display that will be at the Secretary of State's office for the rest of the year. So if you are visiting the state capitol, you'll be able to pop in and see that exhibit. There will also be the only item in the state archives that is directly related to George Washington, whom we are named for. We have a letter that George Washington wrote during the winter encampment of 1777, and we will have that letter on display, and we will have our famous George Washington impersonator, Vern from Squim, will be coming down to Olympia in full regalia to read the letter that he wrote. And I just got contacted this morning, and John Hancock is also going to be joining us on March 2nd. So he will be there as well to share in this event.
Awesome.
Beyond that, we plan on being out to as many community events as possible. So please, not only put it in the events calendar, if you're doing something really neat or different, let us know. We want to be out and about. We want to get our elected officials out to your events as well. We've spoken repeatedly to the Lieutenant Governor and other representatives about being out in communities this year to see what's happening, what our great community partners are doing with, let me emphasize, no funding from the state.
Yes, good point. Thank you. Okay, well, folks, we have just a minute or two left. Marissa, are there any more questions before we wrap this up?
Looks like there isn't.
No, okay. Well, this has been a fun and engaging webinar. I can't wait to kind of see what this year has in store for everyone across the state with America 250. I mean, that's why I love Washington and America. It's just the diversity of the people, the backgrounds, the history, the culture. I mean, I think Washington has it all, and I hope folks and visitors to our state get to experience it as well. Thanks, attendees. You will get this recording along with PowerPoint slides and links to all of these resources. And stay tuned next month for the Tourism Skill Shop as we focus on tourism research methods for that. So hope to see you again soon. And speakers, if you don't